Yo, what's up, guys? We're going to go through a lot of bets. So there's some good promos on Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy has a promo on Chet. We'll go through some plays on Fliff. Shit, I got to log into Fliff quickly. And yeah, we'll log into Fliff in a sec. Let's get this Underdog promo done. So sharing my screen. What's up, guys? So on Underdog Fantasy, right, like they usually, any two-pick entry you create, any two picks you select, you're usually getting a 3x payout. That's just how this platform works. Any two picks you select, 10 to win 30, 3x payout. But basically with this promo, right, they got a promo on Chet, it's going to go to a 4x payout. So what we want to figure out first is, again, the way that Underdog works, right, is you select an over, you select an under, whatever. You're always going to get the same payout. So if we take Chet's over versus his under, we're going to get the same payout. So the first thing we want to figure out is like, okay, is this guy more likely to go over or under? So this is the OddsJam Sportsbook screen. And if you look at Sportsbooks, I mean, it's a little bit divided. Some books have him favored. William Hill, Caesar Sportsbook, they have him favored to go over. But most of the books, it looks like, have him favored. DraftKings has his under at minus 120. Barstool has his under at minus 120. Fliff has the under juiced, right? The odds on the under are worse. So according to Fliff's model, they're saying, hey, the under's the favorite outcome. The under's the more likely outcome. So aside from Caesars, basically every sportsbook has the under favored. So that's the play we can go with here. But we still need to find a good pair, right? We need to find a good play to go with for this Underdog Fantasy promo. Again, what's kind of annoying about Underdog is you can't place straight bets, right? It says you need to make at least two picks. So we need two plays to go with for this promo. We could also play. So one play I went with, I already did the previous one. I gave it out on Twitter, but I still think it's good, is Michael Porter Jr. under 6.5 rebounds. So if you take a look right here, right, you could still go with this play if you wanted to. Again, I already went with this for the Semien promo. If you just want to tail this one, Underdog has two of these promo boosts. But if you look at Porter Jr., right, all the books have his under pretty heavily favored. So again, like, I follow a very data-driven approach. All of these sports books are billion-dollar companies. They have pretty damn good models. I don't think I'm going to outsmart them, right? So if we look at Porter, all the books, right? The data never lies long-term. DraftKings, Barstool, all these books have his under super heavily favored. So his under is more likely than his over. So you'd want to go with his under for the Underdog promo. But anyways, what we can do is we can first go with this play on Thompson, under 13.5. I already included this play on, Porter, so I'm going to skip it over. So what we can go with is we can go with Thompson, under 13.5 rebounds plus assists. So sometimes the values in kind of random markets, but again, like you look at all the books, they all have Thompson heavily favored to go under. Minus 168 favored on FanDuel, minus 145 on Fliff, minus 148 on Caesars. And then what we could do, because what we can do is you can play two picks or three picks. It doesn't really matter. But what we have is we have Evan Mobley under 10.5 rebounds. So it's the same strategy. Again, I follow a very data-driven approach. You can do whatever you want. I don't really care that much. But if you look at Evan Mobley, all the books have him favored to go under, right? PrizePicks has his line lower at 10. That's an indication to us that, like, hey, maybe Mobley's line is too high on Underdog. Their direct competitor, PrizePicks, has the line lower at 10. And then you can see all the sports books, they have the line at 10.5, but they have the under favored. So it's like, okay, we have three picks, all unders, and this is what we can go with for the Underdog promo. Shit. And you can see they removed the play on Mobley. So I'll just play it as two picks. Thompson under, and then we got Chet under. 4x payout. You're usually getting a 3x payout on Underdog for these two-pick entries. So it's like, okay, I kind of bounce around, on Underdog Fantasy. Aside from these promos, I mean, there's not like a ton of value on Underdog right now, even though there's 13 NBA games. There's a lot of NBA today. So there will probably be a lot of good bets showing up, depending on the books you use. There's just a shit ton of games today. More games means more surface area for books to cover. What's great about the NBA, it's probably will be your most profitable sport, is there's so many games, right? More games, more profitable bets. more surface area for the books to cover. And again, like NBA has a lot of line movements. So if you look at like, this is a good Twitter account to follow, Underdog NBA. All these players who are questionable, whatever, like Paul George, injury report, Terrence Mann ruled out, Wednesday. Obviously, the Clippers have big news. But all this stuff moves around lines, right? If Terrence Mann isn't playing, who's going to play more minutes? Who's going to score more points? All that type of stuff moves around lines. All these books set lines independently. So that's the type of stuff that leads to good bets. But anyways, let's go over to PrizePicks. And we can take a look at PrizePicks. So on PrizePicks, they don't have any promos. That's kind of the first thing I check for in a day, is sometimes these books have really good promos. But what we can do is we can kind of take a look at some of these other plays. And we can kind of go through it. So the first play OddsJam's recommending is Jason Sanders. So this is an NFL play, under 1.5 field goals, right? So you can see he's gone under 4 out of the past, 4 out of the past 5 games. But that doesn't really matter. Every game is different. We want to, so every game is different. And the reason you want to look at sportsbook odds is everything's baked into the market, right? Injuries, lineup changes, like all that stuff gets reflected in the odds that sportsbooks are putting out. But if we go to the NFL and then we go to field goals made, we can take a look at Jason Sanders, right? So PrizePicks has his line at 1.5. You can see all the books have him pretty heavily favored to go under. DraftKings, he's a -145 favorite to go under. So again, like DraftKings, I hate to break it to you, you're not going to create a better model than a $10 billion company, right? So you kind of want to follow all the data in the market. So if we look at Sanders, right, you can see he's a big favorite, -145 favorite to go under. So I have my little spreadsheet here. And on PrizePicks, right, if you go through the math behind PrizePicks, you'll see to be profitable, all you got to do is win these over-unders, just like Sanders over-under 1.5 field goals. All you got to do to be profitable on PrizePicks is win these picks above 54.25% of the time. But that's not like easy to do, right? Like we have to win our picks 56% of the time, only losing 44% of our picks to be profitable on PrizePicks. Or win your picks 57, only losing 43. PrizePicks knows most people don't have an advantage. And if you don't have an advantage, you're probably going to win about 50% of your picks. You're going to lose 50%, like flipping a coin. So on PrizePicks, you need a real edge, right? You got to win 55, only losing 45% of your picks to be profitable. But anyways, the reason this play is winning above 54.25% of the time is you just look at all the books, right? All the books have Jason Sanders heavily favored to go under, right? And it's not just one book, right? That's what's great about sports betting. All these books set their own odds. So you essentially have dozens of data points, all these sophisticated books, billion-dollar companies, taking bets, really good data feeds, telling you exactly where a line should be set. Every single book, they all have him heavily favored to go under 1.5 field goals. So it's like, okay, that's the first play we can go with. But we still want to find some more good picks. So what should we look at next? So another play, this is for tonight. You can see there's some esports plays, which we can get to in a sec. But this play, it's barely winning above 54.25% of the time, but still looks like a good pick to go with is Trae Young under 3.5 turnovers. All the books have his under favored. So it's like, okay, let's focus on the main sports before we get into, and sometimes the value's in these random markets. So you look at Trae Young turnovers, BetMGM, Barstool have his under as a -140 favorite, Fliff -150. So it's like, okay, that seems like a pretty good play to go with. A lot of these plays, like if you look at this player, here we have some CS2 value. So if you look at this player shine, there's only 2 data points. There's a discrepancy between PrizePicks and Hot Streak. But you only have 2 data points, right? As a sharp bettor, we always want to see value in the market. We want to see discrepancies. That's what we want to see. We want to see where books, are out of sync. But, here, it's not like there's a ton of data points. Whereas when we're talking about this play on Jason Sanders, there's like 15 sports books, all with his under heavily favored. So you have really high confidence that, yeah, like Jason Sanders, he's a lot more likely to go under as opposed to over. So that's a good pick on PrizePicks. And again, like PrizePicks, they don't change your damn payout based on you selecting a player's over versus under, right? So all you want to do is compare the lines on PrizePicks to sports books, right? All the books have Jason Sanders heavily favored to go under. His under is more likely, so you'd be crazy to take his over on PrizePicks since they're giving you the same damn payout, and you have tons of data points telling you he's more likely to go under. But anyways, so Anthony Davis under 41.5 PRAs. So we can go back here. So here we have another NBA pick for tonight. And sometimes these slips, it looks like a random assortment of, crap. So did they already bump it down? So you can see his line was 41.5. They already bumped it down to 40.5. So I'm talking too much. I mean, sometimes these plays move pretty dang quick. So we'll just refresh this, and then we can be like, okay, like what other values in the market? So let's go over to esports. So esports, you don't have as many data points, so you shouldn't be as confident in your edge. But I mean, you look at this play, NPL, PrizePicks has his line at 32, Jock Market, which again, this may not be a sports book you use. It's still a, data point. They have the line at 30, hot streak at 28.5. So it's like, okay, like whatever. This seems like a good play we can go with. CS2. So now we have an NFL pick for the NFL London game at 6:30 a.m. So I will not be up to watch that, but regardless, if it's a good bet, I want to be on it. So we have NPL under 32. Again, these plays where there's only like one other data point, hot streak, like cool. Sometimes there's really big discrepancies and you can middle bet, hit the over on PrizePicks, hit the under on, hot streak, something like that. But for now, it's like, okay, like we only have 2 data points. Although here we have 3 data points, or, here we have Jock Market as well. They have the line at 29.5. Doesn't look like Underdog Fantasy has esports lines for tomorrow posted, but this seems like another good play to go with. Again, what's crazy about sports betting is like, it's just crazy. All these books have different lines. Like once you internalize that, it's insane. Like you think about the price of a stock, there is one price for Facebook. You go to Fidelity, E-Trade, Robinhood, Charles Schwab. This is the price of Facebook, $311.85, right? You're always going to see the same price. The stock market's very efficient, one price. What's crazy about sports betting and why there's a lot of opportunity to make money is the market is so fragmented, right? All these books have different lines, and, we're trying to catch PrizePicks screwing up. And it's very accessible. Like it's not that hard to do. So let's refresh this one more time. We got 4 good picks on PrizePicks, but ideally we can find a 5th pick, and we have all unders so far. So all unders. And here we have an over though. JDC. So let's take a look at this play. So here, added benefit is Underdog has a lineup. So another data point. They have the line at 33.5, hot streak 34.5, Jock Market 34. So there's not like a shit ton of value on PrizePicks right now, but hey, there's enough value to play this slip. So none of these plays are in the same game. We got 8:30, 2:30, and 4:30 in the morning. So if you're a night owl like I am, we'll have a lot of sweats going on at that time. And again, what sucks about sports betting is you'll see, like, I've been too profitable on PrizePicks. They say, oh, you only get a $25 max bet size, which sucks. So again, like having multiple books is a good thing because again, you never know which book is going to let you bet the longest, which books are going to have, the highest betting limits. Like, for example, one of the books that offers me the best betting limits is right here. It's WinBet. I don't know why, but they still give me really good betting limits. I don't think they limit that aggressively. So I'm able to get down a lot more action. So having multiple books, you never know which book is going to have value on a given day. On these live streams, I try to focus on PrizePicks, Underdog, just because they're available in the most locations. But depending on where you're located, you may have different sports books, and there may be good bets on those sports books. There's hundreds of books out there. 213 sports books are on OddsJam, and there's value on Ballybet, which is a New York sports book, hot streak, whatever. These books are just they're not available in a ton of locations, so I don't really focus on them as much during these live streams. So let's do Fliff, Underdog, PrizePicks, and then let's also do ParlayPlay, which is available in a ton of locations. So it's like, okay, like we got some good plays down on PrizePicks. We got down some good bets. So again, we have this for the Underdog promo. And then this is what we just locked in on PrizePicks, 5-pick flex play. And again, it does matter like how many picks you go with. If you look at, PrizePicks, they only give you a 5x payout for 3-pick entries. That sucks, right? Like if you look at Underdog Fantasy, right here, they give you a 6x payout, 100 to win 600. So the only difference really between PrizePicks and Underdog is the optimal number of picks to go with, because they have slightly different payouts. On Underdog, 3-pick entry, 6x payout. PrizePicks only 5x. So yeah. But anyways, we can go over to ParlayPlay, and let me also just log into Fliff very quickly. And then we can hit some bets on Fliff. And then we'll go back to PrizePicks. Okay. Okay, we're in. So let's go back here, and then let me share my screen. Okay, so we're back here, and what we can do is we can look for some plays now on Fliff as well. So let's increase this a bit. Not a ton of value on Fliff right now. Jason Tatum, I have it sorted. I usually sort by profit margin, which makes sense. You want to see the highest profit margin plays. So this play I'm already on. Again, Fliff has a max bet size. Sometimes I have more bets on Fliff, sometimes less. Again, it just depends. Like if there's a shit ton of good bets, a lot of games, I'll have a lot of bets on Fliff in a day. But you can see Sharp under 3.5 assists. This play is crazy good, right? Like all the other books have ripped his line much, much lower to being, he's a big favorite to go under. -172, -140, -115. So you could play this straight up. You could just play this as a straight bet. It obviously has really good value, 8.67% profit margin. What you could also do is you could arbitrage bet this. And it looks like FanDuel actually just moved the line a bit lower. But arbitrage betting is a great strategy, depending on where you're located, what books you use. So this play still looks really good, but you can see FanDuel dropped the line. Still -188 favorite to go under, but they reduced the odds on the over, probably because they were getting arbed. But there's some good plays available, so we'll hit something on Fliff. But again, arbitrage is amazing. That's how I started sports betting. It's when books have such different odds that you can bet the over on one book, in this case, the over on DraftKings, the under on a different book, in this case, Caesars, and make a risk-free profit, right? So when books get super out of sync, you're basically day trading the inefficiencies in the market, bet the over on DraftKings, the under on Caesars, and make a risk-free profit. It's free money, right? So if we go back here, we can go through an example of it, but maybe we just quickly see what else is out there on Fliff. So I'm already on this play. Again, Fliff has a max bet size of 250. So you'll typically see I'm hitting things for $250 on Fliff. I always bet early in the week. I mean, some people will be like, oh, like, whatever, like those games are still far away. I don't know if I want to place my bet. What if the line moves? What if Joe Burrow gets injured? But again, like great bets, they're not going to last forever. A lot of this stuff gets bumped quickly. So whenever I see a good bet, I try to get on it. Even if the games are a few days away. So I'm on the Saints -7 at -105. I have no idea how that's doing. We can kind of take a look here. So on OddsJam, you can like browse odds for whatever market you want. But if we go over to the Saints game, let's take a look at the odds. Right, so most books have the Saints as like 8.5-point favorites, 9-point favorites on PointsBet, right? We got -7 early in the week at -105 odds. Like, obviously, this bet looks really good. All the other books now have the spread at like 9.5, 8.5, 8. We got -7 at -105 odds. I think that play was from a live stream. But anyways, maybe we lock in a play on ParlayPlay. It looks like they're releasing NFL lines. And again, sometimes the best value is early in the week. So A.J. Brown obviously has looked fucking incredible. But let's take a look. So we have Eagles, Cowboys. Let's look at player receiving yards. And there's different strategies, right? So like here, if we take a look at A.J. Brown. Whoops. Where are you? So if you look at A.J. Brown, not a ton of books have lines posted yet. The fantasy sites do, right? PrizePicks. It looks like FanDuel is starting to drop odds. But PrizePicks has the line at, all these sports books are opening him around 80.5, right? PrizePicks, ParlayPlay open his line, and Underdog have his line at 94.5. So again, that's fucking insane if you think about it, right? Like sportsbooks opening his line at 80.5. It's like seeing a stock at $80.50 on E-Trade, 94.50 on Fidelity, something like that. So what you could do, one option is if you use FanDuel, again, I don't know what books you use, but this is a great betting strategy, is you can go to FanDuel, right? And again, try to move quick. This is not going to last that long. Discrepancies like this in the market. Take A.J. Brown over 82.5 receiving yards, go over to PrizePicks or Underdog, whatever. So if we look at A.J. Brown, where are you? So if we go over to A.J. Brown, where's his line? No. Here, his line's 94.5. So hit the under here, right? Hit the over 82.5 here. If he has 83 to 94 receiving yards, 12-yard gap, you're going to win both bets, right? Which is pretty good. So you have a 12-yard gap, which is incredible. Again, it's crazy how different these books can be in terms of where their line's being set. And you got to remember, like, the probability A.J. Brown, has between 83 and 94 receiving yards is pretty high. He's not going to end up at 500 receiving yards, and he's not going to end up with 0. So where the player's line is centered, like, those are the most likely yards. Most distributions in sports betting are roughly normal. So like A.J. Brown is very likely to end up between like 80 and 100 receiving yards, 70 and 110. So those 12 yards are really impactful and make the play profitable. Middle betting, hit the over 82.5, hit the under 94.5, and an Underdog slip. But anyways, let's go back here and let's just see what other discrepancies are available. There's also a discrepancy on DeAndre Swift. So again, like, this is what we want to see as a sports bettor. We want to see where do books have different odds. We don't want to be looking at the same shit. So here, it's the same thing. FanDuel's at 54.5. Although it looks like FanDuel's too low. This just looks like a good bet on FanDuel. They opened DeAndre Swift at 54.5. All the other books are opening, and fantasy sites are opening him up at 60.5. So you could middle bet this, or you could just hit the over 54.5 on FanDuel. But anyways, let's take a look at ParlayPlay quickly. And then what we can do is we can, go back to PrizePicks or something like that. So if we look at Jalen Johnson, OddsJam's recommending we take his under 10.5 rebounds plus assists. So again, on ParlayPlay, you can kind of like create your own Taco Tuesday or discount. You can bump one line a day. You can only do this once per day, but you can bump a player's line in your favor. But anyways, what I want to do first is I just want to be like, okay, like, how is this line? Is it good? Like, let's just take a look at the data. So we're looking at player rebounds plus assists, and we're looking at Jalen Johnson. So let's take a look. So you can see PrizePicks, Underdog. They have his line at 10. ParlayPlay's at 10.5. ParlayPlay works in basically the exact same way. But the benefit of having ParlayPlay is, first of all these books have like pretty lucrative promos. When you sign up to ParlayPlay, they give you $100 for free. You put in 100, you get 100 for free, which is pretty nice. So like, even these books where I don't find a lot of value, I still sign up for them to take the free money, right? It takes 2 minutes to sign up for ParlayPlay. They give you $100. I will take every book's $100 that lets me. But anyways, if we take a look at Jalen Johnson, right, all the sports books have his line at 9.5, but they have the over slightly favored. All the other fantasy sites, PrizePicks, Underdog, Jock Market, these fixed payout fantasy platforms, they all have them at 10. So it's like, it's not that fucking complicated. Under 10.5 seems pretty good considering they're direct competitors. All the other fantasy sites have the line lower, and all the sportsbooks have the line at 9.5. So it's like, okay, that seems like a good play to go with. Too many tabs open. So let's look at Vukovic next. So this is the same market. I mean, sometimes it's these weird derivative markets. I mean, it's the same thing. 14, PrizePicks and Underdog. All the books have his line at 13.5. So it's like, okay. Or they have his line at 14.5 with the under super heavily favored. So it's like, okay. Just like PrizePicks, like on this platform, you have to win. So on PrizePicks, it's, you have to win above 54.25% of your picks to be profitable. So if we go back to PrizePicks, my little spreadsheet, you have to be able to win your over-unders, right? Just like A.J. Brown, over-under 94.5 receiving yards. All you got to do is win your picks 55, only losing 45% of your picks to be profitable. On ParlayPlay, they actually have slightly better payouts. So it's only, you only have to win your picks like 53.9% of the time on ParlayPlay in these 6-pick entries. So what we can do, and I don't have a lot of MLB player props for today, but maybe there will be some value. Obviously, we have a big game. Rangers could close it out. So this play on FanDuel still looks good if you want to hit him over 54.5 rushing yards. But anyways, so we already have a play on a player on the Bulls, right? We have Vuk under 14.5 rebounds plus assists. That play had a solid edge. Again, all I do is follow the fucking data. But Zach LaVine, I don't really want to take Zach LaVine's under in PRAs because I'm already on Vuk's under, right? It wouldn't make sense to take two players on the same team to go under in rebounds plus assists. Damn. So what we could do is you can see, although these assholes, I think they started reducing payouts. So you can see they started reducing payouts if you correlate outcomes, but there's also value. There's also a discrepancy on A.J. Brown's under, Jalen Hurts under in passing yards, but we're not going to be able to take advantage of it. But anyways, it's like, okay. So there's really two main ways to get an edge on PrizePicks, ParlayPlay. So the first way is like, find these line discrepancies. Just like on Jalen, it's like, okay, like all the books have his line at 9.5, right? 9.5. All the other fantasy sites have the line. Underdog just moved Jalen Johnson's line to 9.5. ParlayPlay sitting at 10.5. All the sports books have his line at 9.5. All the other fantasy sites have his line at 9.5 or 10, right? You have dozens of data points, right? All telling you the same thing. So the first way is find line discrepancies. Because again, all we got to do on this ParlayPlay platform to be profitable long-term is win at least 53.9% of our picks. So lines are moving. You can see on Jalen Johnson. Who knows? Maybe another, player and is ending, is going to get more minutes. Maybe the coach said we don't expect them to play much. Who knows? But anyways, now we can find this play on Mobley. So we have Mobley, right? Under 10.5 rebounds is what OddsJam's recommending. So again, on, this ParlayPlay platform, you take his over, you take his under, doesn't matter. You still get a 5x payout no matter what. You're always getting the same damn payout. So the way to find picks winning above 53.9% of the time, or why is this a sharp bet on ParlayPlay, is all of the books. Pinnacle, sharpest bookmaker in the world. Bet Online, another really sharp sports book. Every data point, right? We have dozens of sports books all telling us, hey, Evan Mobley is a lot more likely to go under as opposed to over. They all have his under favored. So it's like, okay, that seems like a good play to go with. Here we have an MLB pick for tonight, right? So MLB lines, it looks like lines are moving towards, Nathan's over. So this can be the fourth pick we go with. And we want him over 4.5 strikeouts. And again, I try to move. I'll try to move a little quicker just because, I don't want these lines to move. So we have Russell Westbrook under 14.5 points. All the books have his under favored, right? Maybe, and again, like sometimes all of these sports books set lines independently. ParlayPlay sets their own lines. So what that means, damn, we have Clippers, Lakers. So what that means is whenever a player gets injured, right, or the lineup changes, or, it's announced that Giannis is sitting out, whenever news comes out, every book has to update their odds. And then we have Tyus Jones over 1.5 made threes. So here we have a nice little entry, right? So it's like, okay, this seems like a good play to go with. 6-pick entry, 40x payout. Again, on Underdog Fantasy PrizePicks, there is no 6-pick uninsured entry, but that's the optimal slip type. Fuck, they already moved the play on Johnson. So again, like these good bets, they're unfortunately not going to last forever. So you want to try to move as quickly as possible. But obviously it takes some time to build the slip. But here you can see DeAndre Hunter under 17.5 points plus assists. All the books have his line at 16.5, right? So you may not use Fliff, which you probably should. Fliff is legal in a bunch of states. They have some good promos. And again, like you never know which book is going to have the best bets on a given day. But if you look at the Wizards Hawks game, player points plus assists. So we go here, points and assists. DeAndre Hunter, Fliff has his line at 16.5 with the under heavily favored. So it's like, okay, like getting under 17.5 seems pretty damn good for DeAndre Hunter. So this is in the Hawks game, right? So we have a 6-pick entry, 40x payout, 60 to win 2.4K, right? And just let the math work itself out. If you're following the data, you're going to make money long-term off these bucks. So again, another strategy, like I'm already on this play on Sharp. Where is it? Or did they move it? So we'll have to see. But again, like you can always just arbitrage bet some of these plays. So I'm already on this play on Sharp. Seems like really good value. All the other books, have his line significantly favored. But if you wanted to, Fliff has a max bet size of 250, is you could arbitrage bet this and make a risk-free profit of 966. If you use DraftKings. So all you do is you go over to DraftKings. And again, when you're arbitrage betting, you want to know how to navigate these books quickly. So we want to go to player assists, right? And then you just want to go to Sharp, hit this. So Fliff has a max bet size of $250. That's the max you're ever going to be allowed to bet on this platform. Because a lot of people will ask like, oh, why don't you just bet everything if you're confident your bets are good for $1 million? And it's like, most of these books have max betting limits. The markets aren't that liquid. But you can see I'm already on him under 3.5 assists at minus 115. So you could either take it straight up or you could arbitrage bet it with DraftKings and make a risk-free profit. So this calculator, if you bet the max on Fliff, 250, it's going to tell you, hey, go bet 207.73 on DraftKings. And I recommend round your numbers to like 205 or 210, something more normal. But regardless, for the sake of example, let's say you bet 207.73 on DraftKings, you're going to make a risk-free profit of $9.66, which is pretty good, right? So we have Sharp over 3.5, and then you have him under 3.5. So there's two outcomes. Like arbitrage betting, you're always betting equal and opposite outcomes, right? So we have DraftKings plus 125, Fliff minus 115. Fliff has a max bet size of 250. So this will only take half a second. But if he goes over, right? In arbitrage betting, if you don't like risk, when I started sports betting and was like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to like this. Arbitrage betting, it's free money. You're just day trading the books, inefficiencies in the market to make a risk-free profit. So if Sharp goes over 3.5 assists, on DraftKings, we go up 207.73 times 1.25, right? Following the damn calculator, it tells you bet 207.73 at plus 125 odds. So we'll make 260 in profit, right? Total payout of 467, but that includes your stake of 2. So the profit is 260-ish, right? 207.73 at plus 125 odds means your profit is 260. On Fliff, we lose 250. Our net profit is $10. We make $10. Now, if he goes under, We lose on DraftKings 207.73. And on Fliff, we go up 250 times 100 over 115. We bet $250 at minus 115 odds. So we make 217. So no matter what happens, we make $10 in risk-free profit. Not bad. And it takes 2 seconds to do. Just go to DraftKings, don't be fucking lazy, move quick, and hit this for 207.73, or round your numbers to 205, 210, whatever. You get the point. Arbitrage, betting, day trading the books to make a risk-free profit. And you can see, like, arbitrage can occur between any sports books. You just got to move quickly. Third quarter point spread, Caesars, FanDuel. Log into FanDuel quick, Caesars quick, know how to navigate the books, hit it for whatever, make some more risk-free money. But anyways, let's go back to ParlayPlay, and let's also go to Fliff, and maybe we can find some good plays on Fliff. So lines are really moving on Jalen Johnson. You can see his unders are just getting hammered. Maybe some news was announced in the game. Like, I don't know. So let's go here. And we want to take him under 13.5 points. So maybe a player who was thought to be injured is not injured. So if we take a look back here, here it is. This is what's moving the lines, guys. Trae Young is available to play Wednesday, right? So my assumption is now Jalen Johnson's going to get less minutes. All the books need to move his under a lot lower. And Fliff is just stale as shit, right? DraftKings has this as a minus 200 favorite. FanDuel rips it to minus 146 on this news that Trae Young is going to play. So we need to, and that's probably why DeAndre Hunter's under, also favored, right? DeAndre, oh my gosh, we are having a fucking field day here with the NBA back. Let's go. So if we look at player points plus rebounds plus assists, DeAndre Hunter. So let's go here. Right? All these other books ripped his line 19.5, 19.5, 20.5. ParlayPlay still a shit at 21.5. So what we could do is we could take, DeAndre Hunter's under, but you got to move quickly, right? Fliff is asleep at the fucking wheel. So we don't have all day, to do this. Clint Capella's under also looks really good. But you can see a ton of plays and coming up in this Hawks game. So what I want to do, though, is I need to move quickly, right? These good lines are not going to last forever. And, of course, we don't want to pair a bunch of Hawks, all their unders in the same slip. Doesn't make any sense. So Zach LaVine under 34.5 PRAs. So Trae Young's playing. So not only does the money line have to move, right? Like all these player props have to move if Trae Young is playing, right? The whole market is affected, So what do we want to go with? So I just kind of use this like, whatever, kind of as a starting point. So this pairs very nicely. There's value on DeMar DeRozan over 20.5 points. That pairs really well with Zach LaVine's under, right? If Zach LaVine isn't scoring as much, most likely DeRozan's scoring more. So that play pairs extremely nicely. Scoot over 13.5 points plus rebounds. I mean, there's just a lot of value right now. Kind of overwhelming. And again, like the best plays are going to be in this Hawks game. So I just want to make sure I don't have too many picks that don't make sense from the same game, and I don't. And this is going to be an all NBA slip. So the market is going crazy with Trae Young out. So what we can do is we can go here. What the fuck do we want as our final pick? AD over 12.5 rebounds, our fragile boy. So let's take his over. Right? So this seems like a pretty good play, and it's like, okay, like whatever. Max bet size of $60, just kind of how it goes. But we got 6 picks with an edge. Let the math work itself out. Line's going fucking crazy. Maybe it's not just ParlayPlay, so let's check out PrizePicks, right? Like, with all these injuries, lineup changes, like sometimes, I mean, Trae Young is obviously a big deal, so lines have to move a lot. If it were, some no-name player like Jalen Johnson, things aren't going to be affected as much. You can see it's leading to a lot of arbitrage bets too. So what causes the market to move? Oh, baby. Sharp. So again, like, yeah, I mean, there may even be times like, you need to try to cash out a bet. Like, it would obviously, you wouldn't be fucking happy if. So here we have 3 really good picks on Underdog. So again, like, lines are moving about this time of day when it comes out, which players are playing, not like, oh, Devin Booker, when's he coming back? Oh, baby, Underdog has a flash sale too. But first, let's get down this really good play on Sharp. So I'm already, you can see they just bumped him higher, and now we want to rip him. We want to hit the under. So I want his under, I want Okoro's under, and we want Hayes's under. So again, like, try to move quick. This is what I'm personally locking in. 3 beautiful picks. 3-pick entry, 6x payout. PrizePicks only gives you shit. So they removed this play on Hayes. So we got to move quickly because I assume this play on Sharp won't be around too long, but I could be wrong. Did they already remove it? So let's just refresh everything and take a look. So you can see they're discounting Thompson's line. So did they remove this play on Hayes? They did. Okay. So what we can do is whatever. Let's just take this promo. We have Okoro under 10.5 points, right? They're discounting Thompson, although I don't even know if they're going to let me play it. All these books have different limits, which is frustrating. So I already have Thompson in this promo, right, for this promo. And you'll notice, like, okay, like, if I try to go with Thompson again, if I try to take his under again, I don't think they're going to let me, but we can see. Let's see. So $10. Okoro points is inactive, so they're bumping everything. I mean, it's frustrating, but that's just kind of part of the game. Like, there's a lot of profitable bets. There's a lot of good arbitrage bets too. Some of them you're not going to be fast enough to get it down, right? So here's the play. You could arbitrage bet this. Still available on Fliff. Make a risk-free profit of $21. Takes 2 seconds to do. Put $250 in your Fliff account. Hit this for $250. Go to FanDuel. Hit this for, let's say you round to $195. You make a risk-free profit of $21. Fucking insane how much opportunity there is in the sports betting market. But anyways, are you going to let me bet this again? Let's see. So we got another promo on Thompson. Oh, yay, they are going to let me bet it. So here's what I went with for the Thompson promo. Sometimes I used to have something where they wouldn't let me play a player twice, but it looks like that's not happening today, which is great. And again, like, go fucking bet this shit. Go arbitrage bet this if you use FanDuel. It's the easiest money out there, right? Just knowing how to navigate these books quickly. I mean, that's what I struggled with at first, is just knowing how to get to these lines quickly. So let's go here. Let's go to the Pistons game. And if we look at player assists, you may be like, oh, Sharp's line is only at 2.5. But no, you got it wrong. FanDuel has these alternate lines, right? So you can see there are 3 places you can bet on Sharp assists. You can take his main line, player assists. They have 4+ assists, which is the same as over 3.5. Or they have these alternate assist markets, right? So here it's plus 130. So it looks like they already bumped it down a bit to plus 130 from plus 138. But over this also, if you think about it, it doesn't make any sense, because FanDuel, look at this, right? They have 4+ assists at plus 130, and they have the over 3.5 assists at plus 116 under the alternate column. Like, these are the same bet. If he has over 3.5 assists, that means 4+ assists. Both of these bets will win. but they have different odds, which doesn't make any sense on the same sports book, you know? So, oh, this play on Nathan is it's available on PrizePicks as well. So maybe we got to create a little PrizePicks play. Hopefully there's some good plays. Well, okay. So now we have Jalen Johnson on PrizePicks. Again, this is probably due to the Trae Young news, right? Like, it may seem so random. It's like, oh, those fuckers just removed it under 1.5 turnovers. So let's refresh this. And then we can also go here and we can take a look. Lines are moving. So you take a look at, our boy Jay Cobb. All the books have ripped his line much higher, right? Fliff is the only book with his under favored. Every other book has ripped his over to being a pretty big favorite, -149 on Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker out there. So it looks like some shit's happening in the Bucks game now too. So what we can do is we can go back here to the Bucks game. And this game starts in 1 hour and 15 minutes. And we want to take him over 18.5 PRAs. And again, you could include this in a parlay. You can play it as a straight bet. It doesn't really matter. So let's lock it in. So there we go. And then we have Bobby Portis under 7.5 rebounds. All the books have his under favored, right? Much more aggressively. So sometimes maybe there was some news in, we can take a look. Underdog NBA is pretty good. So it's like, okay, like anything in the Bucks game. I mean, all this stuff moves around the market, right? But again, like when I used to be a trader, it's like when news was announced, only one price changes, right? There's only one fucking price for Facebook. So like, whatever, the market now deems Facebook as a company more valuable. But in sports betting, all these books set lines independently, so they all have to update. And that's why there's a lot of opportunity in the NBA, a lot of opportunity, right? So you can see FanDuel. So here's another arbitrage play. Player made threes. So there's some arbitrage bets. I mean, what do we want to go with? Bridges, over 2.5 assists. Boom, -215s. That seems halfway decent, but let's refresh PrizePicks. See if we can find some plays. So PrizePicks is more on top of their shit, it seems like today. They still have this play on Jason Sanders, which seems quite good, under 1.5 field goals, but I don't know. Sometimes, too, it's like maybe they're taking enough dumb action on his over. Everyone sees a Dolphins player and is like, oh, like they have Tyreek Hill up twice, which makes no sense. I'm not sure why their website is so janky right now. But what we can do, actually, let's check out player touchdowns. Sometimes there's really good value in these player touchdown markets. Oh, baby. So PrizePicks has Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler, he didn't score. Did he even score a touchdown until last week? I don't remember. But you look at all the books, right? PrizePicks, they give you the same payout if we take Eckler's over or his under, right? Obviously, you don't want to go with 3-pick entries on PrizePicks, but you take Eckler's over, you get a 5x payout. You take his under, you get a 5x payout. So why do we want to take his under? Well, look at all the books. Fliff has him as a -170 favorite to go under. Pinnacle, Penny, sharpest bookmaker in the world, has him -159 to go under. Barstool, -160. All these books have his under heavily favored. So early value NFL player props. Beautiful. What about Kamara? Again, I'm not sure why. Kamara, though, there's no value, right? Like his over nor his under. Neither side is favored. Neither, right? Like -1, like, so there's no value. Again, on PrizePicks, they give you the same payout if you take a player's over versus his under, right? Your payouts never change. So for Kamara, the market books, they don't really have either side of the line favored. You know, like he's maybe a slight favorite, minus 160. But like it's basically he's 50-50 to go over versus under. So there's no value on either side. So Sam Howell, but these are quarterbacks, so it includes passing. So that's kind of more complicated. What we can look at is must. So Raheem, also favored to go under. A little scary. But again, this play, he's not as heavily favored as this play on Eckler, right? You look at Raheem, he's like minus 150 to go under. Whereas Eckler is like minus 170. But anyways, I'm going to call it a day for now. Hopefully this was helpful. My dad's in town and he's back. So have a great one.